Ruger reporting live for us in Durham. Thank you.
This was an act of sheer evil. More than 1,000 civilians slaughtered, not just killed, slaughtered in Israel.
President Biden there speaking this afternoon for the first time since Hamas militants launched a massive attack on Israel. Here's the latest as it stands now. In the last 90 minutes, we have learned at least 14 Americans are among the more than 1,800 killed on both sides. The president says Americans are also among those being held hostage by Hamas. The U.S. is enhancing its military posture in the region, and Secretary Blinken will travel to Israel this week. The violence has rattled global oil markets and sparked new urgency on Capitol Hill. Karen Kafa is in Washington now with the latest.
President Joe Biden reiterating U.S. support for Israel on the fourth day of violent conflict with Hamas.
We will make sure Israel has what it needs to take care of its citizens, defend itself, and respond to this attack.
Fighting sending shockwaves through global diplomatic and economic spheres. Israel sits in a region of major global oil producers, and prices have moved higher in recent days. But analysts don't foresee sustained spikes at U.S. gas pumps unless the conflict is prolonged or spreads to neighboring countries.
Most oil products are very seasonal, and we're moving into the off-season for gasoline, but we're moving into the season for diesel, jet fuel, and heating oil. And that can be very insidious for inflation.
Meanwhile, U.S. congressional response, including approval of additional aid, will be limited until a new House Speaker is elected.
No speaker. It's very hard to say how anything's going to move forward.
The small group of Republicans who voted to oust Kevin McCarthy, pushing back at those who blamed them for stalling Congress, instead pointing to the Senate.
Why aren't they already preparing something for us so that when we get back in session that we could vote for it?
Some Republicans bracing for the possibility that neither GOP candidate for Speaker, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, nor House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan can secure enough support, leaving Capitol Hill at a standstill. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
North Carolina lawmakers voted unanimously today in favor of a resolution of support for Israel and its conflict with Hamas. The vote came at the end of a contentious session, including 5 veto overrides. House Speaker Tim Moore today left the dais to speak about the conflict on the House floor. He said a community he visited was one of those attacked by Hamas militants, and 70 out of 200 people were killed, including women and children.
That is senseless violence. That is terrorism. Just in the way that we as a nation were attacked on 9/11, so too Israel has been attacked. And we owe it to a freedom-loving democracy to stand with them in their time of need.
No one spoke against this resolution. Some lawmakers, though, did point out that many people living in Gaza are not a part of Hamas and are suffering as well. The resolution urges the U.S. government to offer its full financial and other support to Israel. Attorney General Josh Stein, alongside 13 other attorneys general, released a statement on the attacks today saying, quote, "We grieve with our Israeli siblings and with the loved ones of all those innocent lives lost in Israel and Gaza because of this surprise attack. The targeting of civilians by Hamas, as well as the thousands of rockets fired indiscriminately at civilian targets, are acts that cannot be tolerated or rationalized." Our coverage of this conflict does not stop here. You can also find the most up-to-date information on WRAL.com and the News app.
Let's talk about the weather.